Hello and welcome Disney Infiniteers. This is James from iHeartInfinity.com, and today we'll be taking a look at Kylo Ren, one of the new characters from The Force Awakens. Since The Force Awakens has only been out for a few days as of the time I'm making this video, I'm going to avoid spoilers for people who haven't seen it yet. For a point of clarification, I consider anything that has been revealed in the trailers to be fair game. So keep that in mind before proceeding any further with this video. Alright, and with that in mind, let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with a little background. Kylo Ren is the antagonist of the 7th Star Wars film, The Force Awakens. He has not yet appeared in any other movies or media, which was done to prevent spoilers of The Force Awakens, so we don't know that much else about him yet. So let's move along to compatibility. Kylo Ren is a Disney Infinity 3.0 figure, which means he only works in Disney Infinity 3.0. You can't use him in 2.0 or 1.0. He should be forwards compatible, so you should be able to use him in 4.0 and beyond. In terms of playsets, he's usable in all 3 of the Star Wars playsets. That's Twilight of the Republic, Rise Against the Empire, and The Force Awakens. In all 3 of those, you have to get the crossover coin for him to unlock him in the playset. Yes, that does include The Force Awakens. And on top of that, you can also, of course, use him in the toy box levels, including Takeover and Speedway. As of now, as of the time that I'm releasing this video, there aren't any toy box levels specifically dedicated to Kylo, but he's brand new, so that's to be expected. And lastly, let's go ahead and talk about gameplay. As you might expect, Kylo Ren is a close-range fighter. He uses his lightsaber to chop up his enemies and turn them into little tiny bits. Out of the 4 Force Awakens characters, he's probably my favorite to play with since he has a fast, kinetic style of combat. He has some very easy to pull off combos, and his Force finisher is pretty strong. His special attack might not be as flashy as some others, but it does definitely have its uses. So in terms of actual gameplay, you have his primary attack, which is of course his lightsaber attack. You have his secondary move, which is a dash, much like, say, Ahsoka Tano from the Twilight of the Republic playset. And then he also has a Force Pull ability, which unlike some of the other Force-using characters, he does have to unlock. And his special move is to put everyone in the near vicinity into a kind of stasis-like state for a little while, and he can attack them freely. Once he hits them, though, they're no longer in the stasis state. And let's see if I can go ahead and demonstrate that ability, because it is kind of cool. Let's see, this should work. Alright, and as you can see, all 3 of the guys are frozen, and the one guy who I started hitting was not frozen, but I didn't let him get his bearings. Now, as I said before, his combos are extremely easy to pull off, and they look cool. He's got lunges, he does little spinning attacks, and then he'll finish them off with a Force finisher, which draws in all of the enemies and does an AoE attack. It also has the cool effect of slightly darkening the screen, like you're pulling in the light to actually do damage. Which brings me to another point. There are actually a lot of very cool special effects involved with Kylo. For instance, if you do his dash attack or his super jump, a little red after image will follow him around for a little bit. It has no effect on the gameplay, but visually it's really cool and it gives a certain distinction to the character, which I appreciate. In terms of strength, he's not quite up to the level of some of the other villain characters such as Darth Maul and Darth Vader, at least not in the early levels. You do have to upgrade him before you start seeing his power come out. But once you do have him upgraded, once you do have some of his skills fully unlocked, he can do a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. So in the end, I think there's a lot to appreciate with this character. He's different enough from the Sith and the Jedi character that you're going to get a somewhat unique experience. Obviously, there's only so much you can do with lightsaber characters, of which all of the Force users are. But he's a distinct enough character that even if you already own Darth Vader and Anakin and Yoda, he's worth picking up. Plus, the figure itself looks pretty cool. Now, one thing you might want to consider is there are rumors that there will be a light effects variant of his character. It's not confirmed, however his pedestal in the Hall of Galactic Heroes does have a little gap where we would see the lightsaber pop up like it did with the other light effects figures. Also, frankly, it's a natural fit. So if you are a fan of the light effects and you don't want to double up on characters, you might want to keep that in mind before getting Kylo Ren. Again, it's not confirmed. We can't 100% say it's going to happen, but signs do point to it probably happening in the not too distant future. Regardless of whether or not you decide to hold out for an FX variant or not though, he looks good on your shelf, he's worth picking up if you're a fan of the figurines, and he fits in nicely right alongside the two Darth characters. Actually, out of the Force Awakens characters, I think he's the best looking. Which isn't to hold anything against Finn or Poe or Rey, it's just that in terms of design, he's got the most interesting one. And so ultimately, the final choice on whether or not you want to buy the character is completely up to you. Some people don't like playing as villains, and that's fine. He is definitely a villain, so keep that in mind if that's something that affects your purchasing decisions. But outside of that one caveat, I would definitely recommend him to any Star Wars fan. His playstyle is familiar, but just different enough to make it interesting. Visually, he might look a lot like Darth Vader, but there are little visual touches to his powers which separate him from the others. And on the whole, he's just kind of fun to play with. He's a good middle ground between the brooding, strong Darth Vader and the more agile Darth Maul, with definite leaning towards the latter. So if you prefer a faster, kinetic style of gameplay, this is your guy to stick with. And that pretty much wraps things up. I hope you enjoyed the video and found some useful information. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Again, I'm going to avoid spoilers for at least a couple of weeks after the movie comes out, just out of respect for people who haven't seen it yet. And we will be getting reviews of Rey, Finn, and Poe up in the near future, so we hope to see you back here. Thanks for watching, guys.